We're finally back, baby. Calcio Guys. Adreano, Gianni, I'm Nicholas. We should be more the travel guys at this point. We had to take some time off the past few weeks. I was in Brazil. Gianni was in Charlotte. Adriano was in the West Island of Montreal. But guys, how are you? How you doing, guys?
How are you? We're good. We're good. We're back, guys. We're back. Cultural Guys back. I don't know what episode it is, 2 or whatever. Happy to be back. Gianni?
I'm happy to be back too. It's nice to have a little bit of a time off, but it's always good to do these things and get back on track.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. It's been a while. I think our last episode was right before Christmas. It's episode 211. By the way, Adriano. Just funny story before we start. On our way back from Brazil, we land at Montreal Airport, and I'm coming out, and I see 3 CF Montreal fans, Montreal Impact fans, and they're there with their scarves and hats, whatever. It's just 3 of them. It's nothing big. It's not a crowd or anything. And I'm like kind of confused. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. I'm like, what are these guys doing here? Obviously, they're diehard fans. I thought maybe the team went away and they're coming back and they're just there to welcome the team. Like fans. I didn't think twice of it. Whatever. I'm even like too tired to even like ask them questions. I thought, okay, maybe there's a transfer coming in, but I don't really pay attention to the CF Montreal transfers anyways. So whatever. I go on Twitter later that day and I see pictures of those 3 fans with a player that I guess came again. I didn't know of this player. I think his name is Matias. I'm going to butcher his name, Kokura or something. And I think he was on the same flight as me coming back from Brazil because he came from a team from Uruguay. And there was only 2 flights that morning, one from, I think, Doha, and then one from Brazil. So he must have been on the same flight. These fans were clearly not waiting for me. But that's my Calcio story. That's my Calcio story. I was on the same flight as a CF Montreal player. I don't think he was in economy class with the rest of us. He was probably sitting in business class. But it was just funny to see, and I think the impact of CF Montreal, they officially announced it today. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. It was a funny story on my way back from Brazil.
No autographs, no signatures, no.
No. I don't know who this guy is. If he's good, I'm going to tell this story forever. If he's not, I'm going to forget about it.
Well, now it's out to the world forever, so you can't hide.
Exactly. But while we were away, guys, there was the Supercoppa. New format this year. I don't know if you guys paid attention much to the new format where they had the semifinals and the finals. I don't really know. So Napoli played Fiorentina and Inter played Lazio. I don't know. I don't really know how they came up with this format. I guess it was the Serie A winner Napoli played the Coppa Italia runner-up Fiorentina, and then the Coppa Italia winner played the Serie A runner-up. I guess that's how it was. At the end, Napoli and Inter both win 3-0. At the end, it's the final Inter-Napoli. Exactly what would have happened under the old format. But guys, I don't know, what do you think of this new format? I don't know if you had a chance to watch the games at all.
I was on a flight on an airplane.
Johnny,
so I didn't have a chance to watch it.
Johnny was on a flight. I can't say I really caught much of it either. Just just coming off the holiday break and just busy with other things. But I did see the outcomes and the highlights and stuff like that. And about the format. I mean, yeah, it's something different. I mean, kind of little semifinal final action. Does it have to be all the way in fucking Saudi Arabia, guys? I don't know. I don't know why we can't have this set up in the country of Italy. But
there's a very easy answer to that question. It's the money.
It's the money.
They offer. It's sorry. I get where you're coming from, but it's.
No, I do as well. But it would be so much more beneficial to have that money within. But I guess that's not how the world works in terms of the economy of this days and age. So I get it, but it just at the same time would have liked for it to be in Italy. But nevertheless, they're there, and it breaks up because they missed Serie A games, so now they have they have a game in hand, all these teams. So I think those makeup games are in about a month time, or a couple weeks time, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I think it was pretty convincing. I think the better teams won in the semifinals, and then the final was what it was. I think we're gonna beat a dead horse throughout the season. We have been with Inter being the best team in Italy right now, and I think the better team won. It took their Mr. Reliable this season, Lautaro Martinez, to score the goal and to get them over the hump. And something with Supercoppas and Simone Inzaghi, sorry, that kind of go hand in hand. I think it's his fourth, fifth Supercoppa trophy, if I'm not mistaken, with the clubs he's coached. So it seems to be his trophy to win all the time, and it's kind of how it played out. And again, not going to beat a dead horse again, but Inter, their squad, we know it, we said it. Just the ability to have depth on the bench and guys performing at an all-time high this season. Lautaro being one of those guys that really stepped up big time so far this season. So third straight. I didn't realize it was their third straight Supercoppa, but Inter third straight. So at the end, I think just the better team won overall.
Yeah. And you know what, with this format, one thing I would propose, like, if you want to do this format, fine, no problem. I know La Liga does it exactly, in the Middle East as well. Whatever, copy La Liga, do your thing.
Yeah.
But why not have these games also count for Serie A points? Like, you're gonna take this game, the game Lazio versus Napoli, let's say, or sorry, Napoli played Fiorentina first game. Instead of playing one of the games, let's say you take away. Let's say the game in Florence, just because Napoli won the Scudetto, they deserve the right to play all their games at home. Whatever, you take one game away from Florence, or you just play the game in Florence and you just say this is what counts as a Supercoppa semifinal, and it's Serie A match day, whatever, 22. Just have that double standard, and then whatever, whoever wins their games, they play an actual Supercoppa game. Maybe you count that extra. It's harder to schedule around that. But if you're going to throw in these extra games, why not have a double, count it as double? Make it meaningful, Or you take the 4 teams that are going to play in the Supercoppa. Again, you want them to play 2 Serie A games at the same time. The semifinal counts as one game. Team makes it to the final. The teams that make it to the final count it as another game. Teams make it. The teams that lose in the semifinals, third place game, it's still going to count. They play each other. Still counts as a Serie A game. For the players, a Serie A game probably counts more than these Supercoppa games. So maybe that's one way to make it more interesting, where they're actually going to battle. There's 3 points on the line, and as a bonus, there's a little trophy at the end.
It's interesting. I don't know.
I kind of agree, in a way that, like, it makes scheduling so much easier. It would make planning or going around this much easier, but I really have like my main point to disagree. My main point to disagree is that if you put it as part of the regular season game, you kind of remove the whole hype of it. Like, you could say, like, oh, it's a regular season game plus it's a Coppa Italia match, and it gets confusing.
It's a bit messy,
and it kind of just gets disorganized. But it also, in a way, it's like, well, no, it can also be simple. It's like it's a Coppa Italia game, so like this counts for double, and it does give a little bit more to that. I think the reason why they don't do it as like one thing throughout the season, and this game counts for the Supercoppa or Coppa Italia or whatnot, is because it would just like get confusing at times, like for scheduling reasons and stuff. So I guess that's the only like main argument I have against it. I kind of agree with your point.
Yeah.
No, I see where Johnny's coming from. Yeah. But again, like with the Supercoppa, it's all these years, like there's never really like, okay, besides the trophy, and we'll label it however we want to rank it as a trophy. Obviously, it's not the biggest of ones, but again, there's not really much of an incentive besides like obviously the bit of money that's coming in. Like, I mean, like the incentive is there. So I kind of see where Nick is coming from, to try to make it somewhere of an incentive to and something to really play for, besides just the end all trophy there. But yeah, I don't know. Like I don't mind the different format. It gives it a bit of more than just a one-off game in the middle of Saudi Arabia for two teams. That I agree. It kind of gives it a bit more of a feel to it, but yeah, I think there's still ways to probably improve it. Will that happen? Probably not, but I guess it's a wait and see.
Well, what's interesting is also one thing I kind of like what the Serie A did is the teams that did play the Supercoppa the week after, they just played each other. Like Lazio played Napoli, Fiorentina played Inter. So they weren't really at a disadvantage of traveling back to Italy and playing a team that remained in Italy that didn't have to play, let's say, these extra games. So I think they did a good job with that. The only thing is Lazio, Napoli 0-0. Fiorentina, Inter 1-0. So were these guys tired? I know we talk a lot on this podcast. How many games these guys play? Maybe it's just anecdotal evidence. I don't know, but one goal across 2 games and including a missed penalty from Fiorentina. I don't know. Maybe the guys weren't in it. I don't know if Gianni if you had a chance to watch the Lazio Napoli game.
No, I haven't had a chance because of school and like my life, just trying to get everything in order and stuff. Like I apologize to the listeners. Like I've been super busy with things and I've been really lacking on watching the games. I've been keeping updates and stuff on my phone and stuff. That's been about it. It's unfortunate, but that's what my life has become right now.
I don't blame you. I
think both. I think, like you said, Nick. I think the teams were still stuck in Saudi. It was clear. One goal across 2 games. They definitely were still kind of the Supercoppa hangover. I don't know, but again, Napoli this season, and Gianni can attest, it's kind of been that type of season. It's been that flip flop and nowhere near what we saw last season. Obviously, we've said it before, but it just. They've been that flip-flop team, and obviously they've gone through a lot of changes in terms of coaching, players. What I did like about Napoli is that especially in this mercato, because we're coming to the closing stages of the winter mercato. They've actually went out and tried to work something out in the mercato to try to bring some new air and some new players into the system and try to still. Quote unquote, save whatever's savable in this situation. So, which I've liked. Lazio, on the other hand, again too, a bit of a flip flop team so far this season. They've made strides in the right direction, and I still think they're able to trend forward. It's just a matter of them being consistent enough to do so. And to be honest with you, it's kind of for both these teams, Napoli and Lazio. So the 0-0 did really shock me a bit because you wish for more goals and more action. But again, it's kind of maybe defined in maybe their seasons a bit. This 0-0 draw in this type of matchup.
But Adrian, I think another draw this weekend kind of disappointed you though. 2-2 with Bologna. I know we talk a lot about Bologna on this podcast. I know we hype them up a lot, and then push comes to shove, and then they tie your beloved Milan, even though they haven't been doing so well.
No.
They haven't won in 4 straight games. 2 draws, 2 losses. They come up with this 2-2 draw against Milan. But Milan remains in third. We haven't spoken about our teams. We could each take a turn speaking about our teams. We haven't talked about them in over a month, guys. If there's anything you've seen, Adreano, over this past month that you need to vent, the floor is yours.
It's not really about venting. I mean, the game against Bologna, it kind of, that's not the result. I mean, at the end of the day, I think Milan should have won. I mean, missing 2 penalty shots. Obviously, it's the nature of the game. Things do happen. The ball is around at the end of the day. Things go in, things don't. So I understand all that, but what is it? I think I was reading the first time in like 70 odd years that Milan missed 2 penalties in the same game. Like, it's something that doesn't happen every other Sunday, right? So, again, does it go back on to Milan has to be better? Sure, but I still think that they deserve more in the game, and maybe a bit of luck on these aspects weren't on their side, but I liked what I saw from Loftus-Cheek, and this is a player that when he came in, I wasn't really sure about him. I'm like, Loftus-Cheek, Chelsea, it wasn't really. He was okay back a few years ago. Then he kind of like dipped off, and I didn't know if we were gonna get like a wash away type of player, but he's really stepped up. He's really been when healthy and when on. He's a key part of that midfield, especially with Benacer coming back, and Reinders has been top too. So Adley kind of coming into the mix. So his performance, obviously, the Pieta was huge. It's a shame. It's a shame that we let it all slip at the end because we were leading 2-1. We give up our penalty of our own. Adreano, newly acquired Milan player, hasn't gotten many minutes. Kind of, in my opinion, makes a bonehead mistake. You put yourself at that risk of getting called for a foul and then for a potential penalty when you put your hands on a player in the box, you tug on the jersey a bit. We have the VAR now, so everything is under the microscope. So again, bonehead mistake from him, something that I think he'll eventually learn from, hopefully. So we have to deal with that. Still sticking third, like you said, but should have been more, in my opinion. But yeah, overall in the month of January, I mean, it's been a pretty decent month coming out of the break. Besides the loss in Coppa Italia to Atalanta, which I think Milan should have been better there too. They've been pretty good. Picking up points pretty much in every other game, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think they've lost in 2024 in Serie A. So it's positive. They've gone on that little bit of a run. Top two is what it is. It's where it's been for a while now. But Milan, if they want to do anything near better than where they are, they just they have to obviously be better and hope for some results the other way that kind of favor them. But again, they're kind of fate is in their hands in terms of their destiny, in terms of where they're going to finish this season. I think if it be third, if it magically be second, we'll see. But I think it would be a huge shame if they somehow bow out of top four. I think top four is in their hands, and it's up to them if they want to take that on and continue on this decent form. Picking up points against I think it was Roma, Empoli, Cagliari. I mean Udinese. It hasn't been like the biggest of competition, but at the same time, we've seen Milan struggle with these smaller teams before. So for them to be able to pick up the points, it's been huge. It just needs to be a consistency thing at the end of the day. So